Good evening, everybody.
Onim sekwesi de do not helebanja na sana na himama fameja. It's been some time now. Now it's all because we're trying to put things together. So if you just dial in, just move your dial. Because enemies am now. And I'm an over Ghana and you ma a coswo a coach cobra my you know for the first time there's something there's a wind blowing around the world. Naval say we are in the west NIA. Now from my own observation any investigation am I Ghana for full almost on now for the first time who said this kind of dynamism and not said this kind of wave is everywhere, and how are we tackling it? And for the first time, there's been a history made in our dear country. Ain't call my Ghana money best start a free. Someone when him say a year studio a UK NAC and you may be able boko so so we will start all the way from our home country a year UK near the work call my Ghana modem we will say a be interject it na dissect it na bubu near similarities and differences near say and you may also know a idea be a na if not and so what can we do to change things? Jesus Christ. Ain't he making sure say we you if you in free baby if you just tuning just remind you this is wuzupradio #1 radio station in London. Yes. Jumedie de friend awareness and na hima me anam die jumedie ho chairman. Then na many samiama the cooling down hat and na me no the bet na fidue mo. Say ya lucky so I me boss me boss over kwaku Jesse Bones and na ye better nka o fidue mo ha. Na ye coswo say day na coswo Ghana this week. Also stepped down as vice president and Chief Viney to Baomia. Now me comment in my also NDC Chief Viney squares off with the Deputy Chief of Staff over the alleged police infiltration in Damo. How COVID-19 pandemic is making schools age children struggle with taking and understanding words survey found. Food safety, where is your food prepared? And now with Dianeno and I say Diania Toabontin, where is it prepared? Is it safe enough for consumption? IMF has discovered lies in data from economic management team. A former deputy finance minister and it says we ebetuja. Enya no kwa ebesa ko FDA akachi BM or say they have issued warning on severe side effects on unregistered ascot diet weight loss product. Ain't mano no any man na mo pese mo so te no ebi mo esi omo ye ebi siti tummy tag ebi mo so sisi ye twu ye mo srade no ne de gugu hip no so we wana zo ba na say oba sexy. Now what are the implications besides that? No go through the surgery, so it be goes and the bimo take a tablet. And what are the implications of these tablets, especially if it's not registered? And they will be called immune system. Then we go to the anti-LGBTQ bill will be passed before the next election. A Speaker of Parliament and I'll show Ghana for you. If you want me to call a year papa Kennedy Japan, or say 3 reasons Mahama can't call for Oforiates sack. Hey, open here, read him. Now your Kogana is this year dollar. No, didn't we say gri. Or say $1 was not 15, even under the incompetent NDC. Yeah, Vim lady on it is answering me a better home. Ain't it Wayne in Sembebre? I cost Ghana no and na me didn't you know when catch it and your make you say call it in right from the beginning. You can watch it live on WhatsApp TV and on YouTube on WhatsApp TV. I'll call your Facebook page and so I'll be here. And just to let you know, the controversial man, Eye Kwaku me ho efe, osi ni din enye Kwaku me ho efe, osi din ye Kwaku me ho efe. And I'm so afan na so just get prepared because you know him, he's been on our show several times, so just be ready for it. Ain't you waiting Sembe bro and I de be bro and nay. Ain't it without much I do memma be your 4 enyina achiachia making sure say when you feed any because and and some no edoso papa Kwaku bang Sammy mammy cry because them said me who on camera is papa. Yes. Ain't it Tammy mammy fan chance here was good evening.
Good evening.
Now how's the week been? You who watch it? Everything for mommy a lot of say now that when there's more man then the cost you who much of fear say then the cost and next day never is on one like they cool it down heart and then what do you call share that I said there's competition be air cost roof fear say or
I'm not very challenged and I'm not
now how's your week been?
Yeah, very much okay. Yeah, it's same. Insurance is yeah, very much so. Me who yeah.
Na kwaku me who awareness a chepa na de na e koso.
Na se mo se ne se de niema e kon mo se ndisi for ma hwe ya. Mo baba beto ebutu ebu nkrofo ni. Na se me ba na.
Is it before you even started and not just a whole dear what
we be church se mo kete se mo be.
O be church se mo keke.
We dey some dey to be anya. Na ma daniel to be ai. But before say e hwehwe bi hu anu
church boa. And then now young fuck way and fan shots yenim say this week and yet this before the past few weeks in the United Kingdom yenim say wuzupradio there. Say me, even though say Ghana #1 radio station in the UK no, we cannot just live in isolation with what is happening in the United Kingdom. And him saying che be analyst trust by any who say kweku kwesi kwating what do you call it finance minister and che bia na what's happening in conservatism what is your impression say in terms of 21st and politics no the so UK and what does that make you feel? And I say my fans started what Sammy so.
Well, I mean, your question is, how does that make me feel? And
yes, said dear Kosono. In terms of say Africa, would it be say party bimunipa or bet me akase radio dear Kosu yentiasie na ya ebe ma yonkwa hunipa and at them for them to vote say or month say unless say a party no nipa odi enimonenko. Remember say we had papa papa ya nitrini fitaya itu na dianza leze be Boris Koe and na a Lestras so aba who saying kawa sa bem sisia no yenya a new prime minister UK has say.
Well, I mean, the question is, so the question is, in terms of the way our system, I am very quickly changing leadership, in that sense. Well, I mean, it's a Western democracy, and I think, as you rightly know, it's a parliamentary democracy, and there is an issue of whether the interest of the party, is being actually kept, and the interest of the party is normally referenced from how the polls are suggesting. So, if you're a leader of a party, that suggests the polls, is indicating you are taking them down the losing of election in terms of parliamentary seats now. Then a lot of times, what normally will happen is, that internal rift that you have seen that has happened for over these years. And I mean, it does suggest within 6 years, they actually have about 5 different prime ministers in 6 years. And that tells you rigorously how unforgiving, they are in terms of who leads the party, because for a country like the UK, that is mainly how they make their judgments. I mean, you could make an argument as to is it something that it is good for the country, and considering how the economic turmoil that we are witnessing, the problems that a lot of economics are facing, you want some kind of a stability. And unfortunately, from the sort of parliamentary democracy that we run in, that stability, is not brought his face in the sort of circumstances that we find ourselves in. But I am not surprised, because if you look at the sort of issues that have been happening in terms of the leaders that have been elected and appointed, so to speak. And we can always say Liz Truss and Rishi Sunak, in a way, even though they were elected somehow, it wasn't more of a general election. So I do see those sort of leaders, as very much nominated than elected. I mean, I know I said about parliamentary democracy, that's how it works, but you could see how this thing has unfolded, and having leaders that have been changed constantly, within this very short period of time. It gives you, in a way, sometimes a reflection on how they are very unforgiving when you don't perform, and if your performance level goes within a specific level that the expectations are, now they will get rid of you. Very, very unforgiving. But it will work mainly in a very mature democracy as it is in the West. I don't think, if you look at the way it works here, it will be something that will be suitable in an African politics. I would say because I don't think we are very much matured enough democratically for us to have a system of governance the way they have it here, where parliament, the leader of the party that enjoys the majority will be the one that will be nominated. And if he goes wrong now, they get rid of him very quickly. I mean, maybe it can work in terms of people in positions like ministerial positions, where you can get someone to be resigning or not. But if I take the whole concept of democracy in the United Kingdom and fit it into Ghana as an example now, I don't think it's going to work. And perhaps it might not be the best thing that we need, to be honest with you, because even UK is having these challenges in terms of the stability that is demanded. You could see when Liz Truss took the leadership of the party, and therefore the prime minister, and of course leading to the policies that they introduced through the finance minister, or the Kwarteng, the friends Kwesi Kwarteng, and the sort of policies that he wanted to project, and the markets reacted, very badly to that, and therefore he has to end up having to resign, and of course being pushed. But the point I'm making is those sort of systems, those sort of events that happens, can only perhaps be acceptable or happening in a democracy that is very, very, very well matured. I very much doubt it will fit into, the same narrative will fit into the sort of democracy that we are, trying to aspire to, and the sort of practices that we have in Ghana. It's unfortunate, but you look at it, there's nothing much more that could be done, because if you have a prime minister who is non-performing, and the economy seems to be going, all over the place now, it kind of makes a lot of sense. So, I mean, you need to get rid of them. Then you find someone who can perhaps do the job. I mean, it's very debatable again whether you look at the current prime minister, Rishi Sunak, as is whether if he has stood for the general election, or if he has stood for the conservative membership election, whether he was actually going to win the second time as well. I mean, that is also a debate that you can have, because of course he went through the same, election, and he actually lost to Liz Truss. But for now, he has brought some sort of stability. So hopefully, things might be much more calmer as from now.
Yo, my main call Imaso say what's going on in the United Kingdom. Were you surprised to see say conservatives, especially from Boris, time now Boris almost on free, so now we're free, so now Pennyphone na including Onwankasani Obikas and the finance minister Esther Pedam. Were you surprised at all?
I am not surprised.